Spielberg's new film, Disclosure Day, might be his worst, and I'm honestly in shock that a director working at his level can make such a huge mistake. My relationship with Spielberg has always had its peaks and troughs. That sounds gay. What I'm trying to say is that I think Schindler's List, Jaws, and Jurassic Park are nothing short of fantastic. They're mature, well-constructed films that have stayed with me over the years. His action is shot with exceptionally fluid and competent direction that cements him as a master of his craft. The point I'm trying to make is that the man can make good films. So what happened? Did he just forget? Because his films after the turn of the century feel like they were directed by a whole different person. Except for you, Tintin, you did nothing wrong. And now Disclosure Day feels more amateur and rushed than any film he's made before. And I can narrow it down to 3 basic mistakes, the last of which is pretty huge. Firstly, he messed up the characters and the world. Disclosure Day opens by dropping you right in on the action without any context. Josh O'Connor's character is captured by the baddies and told that he must hand over the plot device quietly or his girlfriend gets it. There's some tomfoolery with an alien MacGuffin and he escapes. First of all, atrocious way to start a film. If you're gonna leave me in the dark and clueless, at least make it intriguing enough so that I want to find out what is going on. I should be leaving a cold open, dying to find out what the context of the scene was. Just for comparison, Spielberg's opening scene in Jurassic Park is the iconic, truly terrifying shooter scene. It introduces us to its world with the perfect amount of context to leave us intrigued. I finished Jurassic Park's opening scene wanting to learn more about the world and the characters. Disclosure Day's opening scene leaves me with no hope that I'm going to be shown anything that I haven't already seen. But unfortunately, this isn't even a problem exclusive to the first scene, because Spielberg gives us no reason to care about any of these characters throughout the entire runtime. Josh O'Connor is a cybersecurity expert, and that's just about all we learn. And he doesn't even use his cybersecurity in the film. We're just told that he can hack into the mainframe and bypass firewalls and whatever else sci-fi jargon straight out of a Ryan Higa action movie parody. But we never see any of it. He is literally just a guy, and he has a girlfriend. I think. I'm not entirely sure. They didn't show any affection to each other whatsoever. I'm going to call their relationship inconclusive. I guess his gimmick is that he has the world's least interesting alien reveal secret, and his whole motive is that he thinks the world deserves to know, but that's about it. It never goes any deeper. And to top it all off, the aliens that he knows about have the worst character design imaginable. You could hardly believe that this guy directed the lovable puppetry and character design of E.T., because the aliens in this film may as well have been little green Martian dudes. It's 2026 and possibly the most famous director is pushing the boat out with a film about crop circles and aliens that look like this. It's just so lazy to not bring anything visually interesting or unique to the table. Spielberg is asleep at the wheel. At least Ready Player One somewhat had world building. It wasn't good world building, but it definitely had some. Fortunately, the other plot of the film is mildly more interesting. We have this weather anchor character, played by Emily Blunt, who gains the ability to read other people's thoughts. And the feel-good, hope-core message is that if we could all understand each other's problems, we'd be much better off as a society. And I'm boring myself just talking about it. I can feel my eyes rolling back into my skull. Emily Blunt has the power to solve everyone's personal problems, so that means she never really has to think for the rest of the film. There's a scene where she gets pulled over and just solves the policeman's problems at home and gets away with it. So her character basically just acts on autopilot. She has no idea how she does it and has no personal conflict whatsoever, so it's just a free pass to breeze through any sort of baddie. I also find it hilarious that she has a goofy sidekick boyfriend character who is so hopeless and unimportant to the plot that she just abandons him and he's not mentioned for the rest of the film. I swear he was only there to have some exposition explained to him, and as soon as that was done, they just cut him out the rest of the film. And all we learn about the villain is that he doesn't want aliens disclosed. It's so cartoony and it treats the audience like they're thick. He may as well have had a mustache to twirl. Why not give him some selfish, relatable inner conflict? Why not give him some kind of ideology that would be threatened by the disclosure of this information? Instead, I just get the impression that his actions are for the sake of being evil. They hint throughout the film that Emily Blunt had this traumatic event when she was 10 years old that she can't remember. And if you haven't seen the film, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to guess what the traumatic event in the film about aliens was. Did you say she was abducted by aliens? she was abducted by aliens. And it's not even a cool scene. She gets visited by some CGI animals that walk her through a Christmas advert and touch her slightly in a spaceship. I couldn't help but think about Greg Araki's Mysterious Skin while I was watching this film. Skip to this part of the video if you don't want it spoiled. Mysterious Skin features a character that believes he was abducted by aliens at a young age and has spent the rest of his life trying to prove this to no success. It's revealed at the end that what he'd suppressed as an alien abduction was actually a case of sexual assault. It's a very crushing reveal to the character and the audience, and uses the idea of an alien abduction to express the horrors of this kind of trauma and how children handle it. Mysterious Skin uses the same alien mythology to deepen its themes. Disclosure Day just uses it as an excuse to have scary men walk around their evil headquarters with gizmos and gadgets. Which brings me to my second point. The action does not feel action-packed, because the majority of the runtime is just the world's most average chase ever put to film. All Josh O'Connor has to do is move from one place to the other, sometimes by driving his car slightly in front of the baddies, sometimes by conveniently having his car crash into the part of the train with a video game ladder placement just right there. The car chase specifically is laughably bad. You have this entire fleet of bad guys failing to shoot the tyres of a cybersecurity nerd, and then the baddie in front accidentally flips his car and blocks off the road. So that's the end of the chase. Meanwhile, Jurassic Park had so many incredible set pieces, some of which didn't even need the dinosaurs. The tension I feel while seeing the Jeep stuck in the tree or them scaling the electric fence is tenfold to the tension in Disclosure Day. There's literally a scene where he escapes the bad guys by crouching down alongside a fence and just walking right by them. There's no tension, there's no fear, there's no reason to care even if he does get caught. This guy made Jaws. These characters feel untouchable because we're never shown any reason why they shouldn't be. No one is ever killed or harmed, so the film is just devoid of any stakes. Which leads me to the biggest gripe I have. Disclosure Day has zero consequences. I couldn't tell you how many times we're told that World War III is about to break out, or that society is on the verge of collapsing, and we never see any of it. It's actually a decent concept. How would society deal with the announcement of aliens? They're the kind of themes that should be getting explored by Steven Spielberg 50 years into his career. Maybe it's just time for a home. There's a scene where some characters are at a petrol station and we kind of see a few extras stockpiling, but that's it. That is all of the world building that you can give us. That is the extent of this film's consequences. When you base your whole film around what the consequences would be if the world found out about aliens, don't you think it would be the bare minimum to have the film continue playing after this point in the plot? I kid you not, they cut to credits halfway through Emily Blunt telling the world. We don't even get to see her finish her sentence. It's the biggest blue ball of the year. They start to come up with some side plot about how the aliens talk with maths, and I swear to God, the main character writes down the difference of two integrals and says maths is the language of the universe, and it's just never brought up again. And Spielberg tries to raise an interesting point about how aliens could cause religion to collapse, but one of the characters phones a non-best friend who essentially just tells her, it'll be aight. That's not conflict. You're not making me feel the weight of what this information would mean to me, never mind everyone else. I'm still not even sure what the consequences of the magic doodah were. It gets the protagonist out of just about every situation that they're faced with, because we can't have them face any kind of consequence. Nobody has any character development, nothing is satisfying. I can feel myself getting angry just talking about this film. My blood pressure is spiking. So if you're dying to go and watch a film in cinemas, go and watch Obsession instead. Subscribe for more reviews in the future. Hopefully there'll be some nuance in the film to talk about.